19% of Americans say they believe that money can buy happiness, and 90% of them have spent money on something to make them happier. Even more interesting is that different generations have different takes on what kinds of things bring you the most happiness when you spend money on them. But you know how they say the road to hell is paved with good intentions? Sometimes we buy things with the best of intentions, only to realize maybe that thing was not all it was cracked up to be. Now, as a minimalist, I'm always advocating for us to collectively be more intentional with how we spend our money, but I'm sure even the most minimalist among us would agree that sometimes mistakes are made. That's why today I thought it would be fun for me to talk about a few purchases that I made that I thought would make me happy, but in fact did not. Hi there and welcome to my channel. My name is Marissa and I'm the founder of A to Zen Life, where my mission is to help you conquer your clutter and simplify your way to a happier, better, and richer life with less. And before we start, I want to give a shout out to Chelsea at The Financial Diet because her video is the one that inspired this one when it popped up in my feed, and it immediately caught my eye because I noticed that one of the things that she mentioned that was showing there right in the text was Ugg boots. And I just had to laugh a little bit because I would say that my Ugg boots are probably one of my favorite things of all time. They've lasted me for more than 10 years. They've gotten me through some very harsh winters in Chicago, New Jersey, and elsewhere. And so I think that just goes to show you that what makes one person happy and adds value to their life might be someone else's big spending mistake. So on that note, I would love it if you would drop me a comment down below and let me know what is something that you purchased that you thought would make you happy but didn't. I know that they say misery loves company, but the purpose of this video is not to judge each other or make each other feel bad, but rather to explore and learn from our mistakes and maybe even heal with a little bit of laughter. So on that note, let's dive in. The first purchase on this list is blonde hair. At this time, it was like early 2000s, and I remember that for some reason, strawberry blonde hair just felt so hot. I would look through these magazines and I would look at these actresses, and I can't even remember specifically who it was. Maybe Nicole Kidman was one of them, but they just looked so beautiful with this strawberry blonde hair. And I was like, I want to try that. And I just want to say that I was going through a really hard time in my life. I had just broken up with my boyfriend. I had multiple family members who were sick around me, including my own father. I was going full-time to college and working a full-time job. And so my life was basically a disaster. So I went to, I think it was like a Supercuts. Well, as you can see, my hair is dark. It was a little less dark back then, but still dark. So the first thing they needed to do was to bleach my hair. And oh my goodness. I don't know if they let the bleach sit too long. I don't know if I have a particularly sensitive head, but I got chemical burns on my scalp from that bleach. And I remember feeling like, is it supposed to be this painful? Because I'd never bleached my hair and I didn't have any point of reference. And then they added on top of the bleach this kind of red dye that was supposed to bring me to strawberry blonde. But then what happened was we found that because I think I have red undertones in my hair really sucked in a lot of the red, and I ended up way too red, way more red than I wanted to be. And at that point, the stylist kind of looked at my hair and was like, yeah, I think we're gonna have to bleach you again. And at that point, I knew that if they bleached my head again, my hair would probably just like slide straight off. So I said, no, that's fine. Let's just stop there. It was a disaster, but I still paid full price for it. I don't know what I was thinking. I didn't have so much of a backbone back then. There's only one picture of me that exists from that time, and it is horrific. This experience kind of scarred me, and I have never dyed my hair since, and that's probably one of the reasons why. I know they say blondes have more fun, but I decided I'm better off as a brunette. The next purchase on this list was full price textbooks, and this was a huge and very expensive mistake that I made. Now, this is back from when I was a book person, and I always loved books. I loved holding them, I loved reading them, I loved owning them, and I didn't want to get someone's used textbook that had like highlights in it. I wanted to have a brand new sparkling fresh textbook, which came with a brand new sparkling fresh price tag. Thinking back, I really wish that I hadn't been so uptight about buying used books because I would have saved a lot of money in the long run. In my defense, another thing that I was thinking was that, oh, I'm going to need these textbooks and I'm going to open them so many times once I graduate, I'm going to want to refer back to them and they'll really come in handy, and I want them to be in good condition so they can last me a really long time. When in reality, a lot of those books I didn't even have to crack open in my class while I was attending it, let alone after I graduated. And I spent like 10 years hauling those things around and feeling majorly guilty every time I looked at that box and thinking about all the money that I'd spent. I don't think I have many young college age people watching my videos, but if you are, definitely take advantage of buying books secondhand. You can use your bookstore as a resource. You can use online apps. You can book share with other people who are in your major, or buy from people in the years ahead of you, whatever it takes. The next purchase on this list is The Gentle Art of Swedish Death Cleaning. I think by the 4th page, I actually tasted blood because I chewed through my lip. It was giving me so much anxiety. When I started my YouTube channel to share my decluttering journey and how I'd cleared the 30 years of hoarding, at that point I had only read one book on decluttering, and that was Marie Kondo's The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. And so for me, decluttering and moving towards minimalism was a really natural, organic experience. And people kept telling me, oh my goodness, with your background of losing so many people and having all of this death clutter, you are going to love Swedish death cleaning.
I did not love Swedish death cleaning.
Now, I expect that this is probably going to be a controversial opinion, but you know what they say about opinions. Everyone has one, and here's mine. I just want to be clear that I do not disagree with the core message of Swedish death cleaning, which is to let go of your clutter before you pass so that it doesn't become a burden to someone else. And if you look at my life and my story, I think you'll realize that I am a very good example of what happens when death cleaning goes wrong. However, I do not think that the author of Swedish death cleaning is the most, shall we say, empathetic or instructive person to spread this message. If you go and search Swedish death cleaning on YouTube, I am sure that any one of the videos that pop up will be miles and miles and miles better than the actual book itself. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you're looking for the best books on decluttering or minimalism, Swedish death cleaning ain't it. The next item on this list is my Ruggable. I have to say that the number one reason that I got this rug in my office is to help me cut down on the echoes. And yes, one reason is because I was tired of getting attacked for how echoey my minimalist home is, but also because as a former speech language pathologist and someone who has worked with hard of hearing clients in the past, I do worry about the quality of my videos. And so I was hopeful that having a rug would help me cut down on the echoes and help me improve the sound quality in here. The only other thing that I can think of is to go floor to ceiling with soundproofing. And I just don't think that that's a good idea for like dust. My husband has a dust allergy. And also we have really high ceilings. So I was thinking that having a rug would really be helpful. And I know a lot of people who have recommended Ruggable on YouTube. I have friends who have Ruggables and love their Ruggables. I would like to add a disclaimer here that this is just me sharing my personal experience and my opinions as to my experience for ordering and owning a Ruggable. So take what I say with a grain of salt. And I would like to mention that I did pay for my Ruggable out of pocket. I didn't get sent a Ruggable for free. The company never reached out to me. So this isn't something that I was gifted. This is something that I bought with my own money. First of all, I found the ordering experience itself on the website to be quite difficult, which surprised me because they are such a big company. So when I signed up, I made sure to try to get their discount, which was 10%, but for some reason it just wasn't working for me to place the order and get the discount. So I had to contact their customer service department. We went back and forth several times, finally did get an order, and then I ordered it and it just sat in one facility for several days. And it was just weird how long the shipping was taking. When we finally got the Ruggable, I was surprised at how thin it was. I would compare it in thickness to like having a towel on your floor. And one other thing that I noticed is when we were laying out the Ruggable, because I ordered such a large rug for the space, they had to cut the underpad down the middle, and it was just really like jaggedy, and I don't know if that's on purpose. A complaint that my husband has is that because it's so thin, it tends to bunch up and bubble up, just with like my kids crawling around on it and the foot traffic going through. The texture is also quite slippery, like it's very smooth. It doesn't have these, I don't know what they call them, like threads. Another complaint that I've seen about Ruggable is that the edges can curl when you wash it, but we haven't even dared to wash it. Thankfully, because we don't have animals, that's not something we have to do often. But when you run a vacuum cleaner over it, it's like bunching up and causing bubbles in the rug. So if I had to do it all over again, I would not order a Ruggable, but I would go with a regular rug. I'm gonna keep the rug. I think it helps with the echoes and I like the way that it looks, but we'll just call this a learning experience. The next purchase on this list is tons of baby stuff. And I think as a new mom, it's easy to get caught up in wanting to buy all the things and having all of the things, when in reality, you really don't need as much as you think you need. Like, I ordered a special breastfeeding pillow and I found that I just preferred to hold my baby while I was breastfeeding. A lot of people order a crib right off the bat, but for the first 2 years of his life, my son slept in a pack and play in the room with us. So there's a lot of stuff that you can avoid buying and not fall into the hype of you need all of the things for your baby. I always think of this one video that I saw where there's a mom and she's like putting things in front of her baby, and it's like a cucumber or a toy. And every single time the baby is choosing the real item, be it like a cucumber or whatever, over the toy. And that just goes to show you that kids don't need a lot of toys to be happy. What they want to do is explore and interact with the real world around them. The next purchase on this list is all of the hair curling products that I have purchased. It's funny that hair can be one of these big fantasy self items that a lot of us tend to spend a lot of money on or make mistakes in. And for me, having stick straight hair like this, I always wanted to have beautiful curly hair, and alas, my hair is so straight. Literally, I've had perms and they fell out right after the stylist pulled the rollers out. But I have bought curling irons, I've bought curling brushes, I've bought straighteners and tried to do the curly trick. The only thing that I've ever found that actually worked for me is something so simple that I already own, and it's just literally my bathrobe that I use to rag roll my hair. And if I sleep in that, I have beautiful curls that last me all day long. I think it also boils down to being happy with what you are and to stop thinking the grass is greener on the other side of the fence and to water your own grass. And the final item on this list is collectibles. And my family was big into collectibles. And growing up, we had all of the collectible stuff. We had the Precious Moments. We had Swarovski. We had, I can't even say this word, Swarovski crystals. We had Barbie dolls. My dad would buy antiques. He had coin collections. We had Longaberger baskets, Beanie Babies, so many collectibles. Growing up, I was taught that collectibles were a smart way to invest your money and grow it. And literally, when my dad and grandma would give me my Christmas and birthday presents of these Barbie dolls that I wasn't even allowed to play with, they would tell me, these are gonna pay for your college someday. You can sell them when you're ready for college. That, more often than not, is not the case. When I started decluttering my home and I completed that extreme decluttering journey, I found that a lot of the things were not only not worth more, they were actually worth less than what my family had paid for them back in the 80s and 90s, which, accounting for inflation, means that they lost even more value. Now, I do want to say that I am not against collectibles. If you have collectibles that you enjoy owning, that you look at and you feel like that makes me happy when I look at it, I totally believe it's okay for you to have collectibles. But do not buy collectibles because you think that it's going to be some kind of fabulous investment that's going to make you tons of money in the future. So I've gotten rid of 99% of the collectibles from my past and only kept 1 or 2 pieces that make me happy and that I love and that add value to my life. For the rest, I've chosen not to own collectibles anymore. And if you want to know more things that I've chosen not to own as a minimalist, make sure to go check out this video, or I'll see you next week. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.